Come closer, my child. This geriatric millennial has something to tell you. Hey guys, it's Jess from She's the Posh. Welcome back. And today I'm gonna give some advice to some first-time luxe shoppers. I make videos every Sunday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Please remember to hit subscribe below and ring my bell so we can become best friends here on the internet. Okay guys, I have a fun video for you that I thought of. It's basically because I learned today that I'm old. I know it's a shock to me too, guys. I didn't realize this. It just kind of happened. I'm a millennial, but apparently millennials are now ancients. And speaking of millennials, I am considered an elder millennial. So I thought this would be a fun video to think of when I first started out in luxury, the advice that I wish I would have followed, that I wish I would have known when I first started out. So I've got some wisdom. Some wisdom for the children to share with you today. So the number one first advice, I have about 5 here, 6-ish. So I'm just gonna kind of ramble. Just, you gotta keep up, listen to the wisdom, my young Gen Zs out there that are getting ready to get into some luxury. The first advice that I would give you is that you do not need to have an introduction to luxury. Right? I can't tell you how many videos that I saw that it was always like best introduction to luxury for new time luxe people. It's almost like you have to dip your toe in, like get an SLG. It's a great introduction to luxury. Some kind of fashion jewelry. Get a scarf, get this, get whatever you want. You don't have to dip your toes into luxury. You can purchase something. You can purchase a handbag as your first luxury piece. You can save and buy that. What I feel is if there is a SLG or a small type of luxury item that you love, obviously buy it. But if there's something else that you want, save up your coin and buy that. You do not need to follow some kind of path or journey and be introduced into luxury. You can just buy what you want. Like, it's just like anything else. You don't need to dip your toes in. It's not some sort of fun club that you need to be in. Just buy it. Just buy what you love. It's okay. We let you in the club no matter what. And in that same aspect is buy what you love, not what others tell you to love. So basically right now it is so hard just to buy luxury that you love unconditionally yourself, because we've had the panorama. We're not going out as much. So we're really influenced by Instagram. We're not being influenced by going out and seeing what other people are wearing. Our fashion is basically told to us. We are told what we should be loving based on Pinterest, other things. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've looked up, oh, what's the latest fashion gonna be? I look at award shows, but I don't watch the award shows. I just watch the beginning because I wanna see the outfits. I wanna see the new stuff that comes out. I follow my favorite Instagram accounts are my essays. I wanna see the new stuff that's coming out. I want to be inspired. However, sometimes that inspiration can be cloudy. Sometimes we don't realize that we are being told or programmed to think a certain way, that maybe we don't necessarily love that thing, but it's shoved down our throats so much that we think that we want it. In reality, a lot of these bags, these hype bags, hype clothing, and different things like that are actually gifted to people, or they are paid to promote said item. Actually saw, I forget what it was called, but I remember watching a YouTube video or something on this documentary where there was this yellow dress, and this company wanted to push this yellow dress. They gave it to micro influencers, so people that aren't as huge. But what they decided to do is pay for them because they were a lot cheaper. They gave them said dress. Some people they just gave the dress to free just to get out there, and they scheduled a time where everybody was to release this dress. So they were supposed to release and upload a picture at the same time. So what did that cause? This huge influx of this yellow dress being all over, and they sold out in a matter of like minutes of this dress because it was just shoved down everyone's throat. It was on everyone's newsfeed. So that's why I say, like, if you see something a lot, doesn't necessarily mean that it's worth that hype that it is given. Doesn't necessarily mean that it is for you. You really have to like think about what your first gut instinct is when you see something. And if your first gut instinct is you see a bag and you're like, it's probably not for you and you just need to steer clear. On that same aspect is before you buy something that's a lot of money, a luxury piece, you decided you loved it. Now let's think about how you're going to style that piece. Does it really fit into your lifestyle? Because I have been victim of this many times. Come closer, Granny's been victim of this. Granny wants to teach you her wisdom. Is I will see something and I love it. I love the bright colors. I like this, I like that. But that bag really isn't good for my lifestyle, to be honest. What is my lifestyle now? I'm more casual. I'm a mom. I'm not dressing up. I'm not an influencer. I don't really work in an office environment as much anymore. I don't need things that I used to need. So my style has changed. So is that piece necessarily going to fit into that lifestyle? I remember getting pieces like smaller bags and different things like that. Buying smaller bags when I was a mom was like the worst mistake I made, is because in reality I wasn't reaching for those bags because I needed to have a bigger bag to put all the said things that you need to have in there. So if you're someone that's a new mom and you're buying a piece, maybe you should think about something that you're going to actually use. But if you want to buy something that's just fancy that you wear every once in a while, but you can picture 5 ways you could style it, you know you have weddings coming up, you know you have things that you could use that piece for, then by all means get that fancy piece that you're not going to be wearing all the time, but have a plan. Before you purchase things and you spend your money, definitely have a plan on how you're gonna style and use it. Next, now we're gonna go to purchase that item. You've followed all these rules, you know that it's something you love, you know that it is something that it works with your lifestyle. So you're ready to said purchase this item. Maybe look into buying it vintage or pre-loved to save you some coin on that piece. That's something that I always love to do, especially vintage bags and pieces. I always love to go for that and see what kind of pieces inspire that, especially you'll notice that a lot of bags that are being produced now are something that was inspired in the 80s or the 90s or the early 2000s. These were popular bags back then that they are bringing back. So definitely look into those bags. Maybe you can get a nice vintage piece. You'll get to enjoy that, be part of the fashion. And then what's great about that, if you're noticing a bag that's coming out, when you're done with that fashion, you could sell it and make a profit off of it, because a lot of the times the vintage market prices will go up when these new pieces are coming in. So that's an idea for you as well. And also, I think vintage pieces are just made better. I also love the history, and some of these pieces will have different materials and be made a different way than you can get now. So I definitely just love vintage pieces. So I definitely recommend looking there or on the pre-loved market. See if you can get something, because as soon as you get a lot of these bags, you're not going to get your money back. So if it's a bag that you use, you think you love it, you have all this stuff, but then you're deciding, you know what, it's not for me. If you buy it on the pre-loved market or you buy it from a place like Fashion File, usually they offer a buyback program where you get 70% of your purchase. But also if you buy pre-loved and you decide to sell it, you're not going to be out as much money as you would be if you bought it brand new, because most of these pieces they depreciate. It's just like a car. They depreciate about 30% once you take them out, especially shoes. Once you take them out, they depreciate almost 50% of the purchase price. So just something to consider, to maybe look at the vintage market, maybe look at the pre-loved market and save yourself some coin. And my last big advice for this is, so say you're looking vintage, you're looking pre-loved, all that stuff, know what current retail is. Know what you are saving, because sometimes, a lot of the times, there are pieces that are more than retail on the secondhand market. And I know that's confusing. It's like, what, is it used? Well, there's some pieces, especially with Louis Vuitton now, where it is their canvas pieces. Some of those things are not as easy to obtain in the stores. So what does that cause? That causes the secondhand market to go up in price. So necessarily, it might actually be cheaper to buy things new, because you have tax and other things to it that you have to consider as well when you're buying on the pre-loved market. So you'll have tax and things added to that. So definitely make sure you understand what current retail is going for to see if the pre-loved or brand new is the better option for you, because it's not always the best option to go pre-loved, sadly, on a lot of these pieces, especially if you're looking at, maybe you want to get a Chanel necklace, Chanel jewelry. It is actually, Chanel jewelry is more expensive to buy on the pre-loved market secondhand than to buy in store. So that's something where you would want to find an essay and ask them what kind of jewelry pieces they have. You definitely want to buy those new. I have a video on Chanel. Should you buy pre-loved? Should you buy secondhand? So that might be something that's helpful, but definitely always know your retail. Sam and I always say, do the handbag math and see, are you really saving money, or is it a better value just to go new? Okay guys, that is everything. I hope you enjoyed that wisdom from grandma over here. Also share if you have any other advice, all my other friends in the luxury world who are old with wisdom of luxury pieces, please put it down below, your advice that you would give these young ones out there that are just dipping their toe into luxury. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. And as always, I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again. Bye guys.